right? It is, unfortunately, for especially men, it's not talked about or it's suppressed through different type of coping mechanisms that aren't necessarily healthy, right? And so at times we disregard something until it knocks on our front door, just like you said.
Yeah.
So being that mental health needs to be more normalized as far as treating it, identifying it, processing your emotions. That was one of the leading reasons that I did go into mental health, because again, it was marginalized or seen as taboo. You can't talk about it. And then also going through my divorce, when I got a divorce 2 years ago, one of the greatest character building opportunities, because I got to see how much men are not given the opportunity to process their emotions in a safe environment. And so that shifted everything for me career-wise. And so to make it not taboo.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass it along. Join us every Sunday at 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story on the Lively Art of Conversation. It's more than just a radio show and the podcast. It is our story that creates your story based off your tests, based off your message, and also based off your triumphs. Everything about our story creates your story, and it's our tribe that creates your vibe on the Lively Art of Conversation. So thank you for joining us on the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass it along. Tune in. What's up? What you doing out there? This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. You know what it is. I roll with my tribe because they are my vibe. That's the aura and the energy that we bring. And I am back with another show. This is a good show because I got a thought provoker with me today. I got my equal. That's right. I have my equal on this platform. So he's going to be challenging me. We're going to have the lively art of conversation, and we're going to get down. When I say get down, we're going to get down. These two old men sitting on the porch just talking. So young men, come gather around the porch. Turn up your radios. It's time. Now, before I get started, I like to always do what I like to do. I like to thank my underwriters for being a part of this show. Thank you, underwriters, for sponsoring me. Everybody that has given me the most important currency of them all, which is time. I am so much in debt, and I show so much gratitude towards you. So at this time, I would like to acknowledge my sponsors.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach at gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. And we're back with the lively art of conversation. If you would like to be an underwriter, a sponsor, a donor, you have a commercial, or you just have a show that you say is interesting enough, reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. And like I said, I got the thought provoker with me here. You know what I normally do. I hit you with that word of the week. I hit you with that quote of the week. And then I hit you with that thought-provoking question that you can work on all week long. I ain't doing that today. Nope. I got the man with me. When I got the man with me here, the thought-provoker himself, the community guy, the leader, the embodiment of manhood himself, Mr. Chris Owusu.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, Mr. Duckett, thank you for having me. My name is Christopher Owusu, and I'm just honored to be here.
And I am honored to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you here. Mm-hmm. And man, I want you to go ahead and kick that word of the week, the quote of the week, and then question that you want people to work on for the week.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the word of the week is going to be faith. Again, the word of the week is going to be faith. Now, the quotation is going to be faith without works is dead. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to go with the Bible because, again, that is the backbone for the moral standard of society. I do not shy away from that. And the question is, if you ask God to win a marathon, are you going to be okay with him giving you the shoes, or do you just want the medal? So that's really what it's going to be about with the quote. All right. Back to you, Mr. Duckett.
Man, you got to explain that one. You ain't going to just drop that one and run. Man, break that one down.
Well, I sure will. So, when it comes to that one, so a lot of people in society, right, they have grandiose dreams. They see something on TV, it could be social media that they want. But people don't look at their everyday habits, because your habits are what forms your character, which forms your destiny. Yes. And we already know how that goes. So a lot of people, they could say higher power, they could say universe, they could use a religious book, but they don't put their pedal to the metal and actually do the things necessary to get what they want or what they've been called to do. So that's why I said it concerning faith. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is very powerful. Do you want God give you the running shoes or the medal? I think most people ask for the medal.
Yeah, of course. It's easier.
Yeah, most people ask for the medal. Yeah, that's very interesting. I have worked with tons of kids. Some of our kids are interchangeable because you do great works in the community. And I've taught them the seed analogy, which is kind of similar to that, you keep looking for stuff on the outside, but everything you need is on the inside. God keeps you fully packaged with everything you need to grow. Sometimes your environment is not conducive for growth. I tell them, so it could be, like if you have a seed that was planted and it was a drought and no rain, and as soon as rain hit in 50 years, that seed is ready to still grow. So the environment's got to be conducive for growth. I like that, man. I like that analogy, man. So I want to talk about the journey of Christopher and what does that journey actually look like and mean. It's all about, how you live, what you learn, what you earn, and how you pass it along. Tell me a little bit about your backstory.
So my backstory started in 1981, right? The late 1900s, as my students would call it. They would make fun of me. So it started in 81 in Virginia, right? My parents immigrated here in 1978, around that time. So both my parents are from Ghana, Africa. So from there, went to school there, graduated. I did get into some trouble in high school. And so I did get arrested for assault and battery, got into a fight, got expelled, and I had to get my degree online, right? And so with that, came to Texas, entered into the armed forces. Right, and from there went to 2 tours as a cavalry scout. Got my combat action badge. I did almost lose my right leg from a rocket propelled grenade, and that was the pivot point to my faith. Before then, I just went to church. After that, I had a relationship with Christ. And because I saw, hey, if I didn't make it tomorrow, would I go to heaven or hell? And I really had to face my eternity head on as a 27-year-old. And so seeing your mortality will change you at any point. When you realize that tomorrow's not promised, you go about prioritizing today a little bit different. So with that being said, I got out the military. I then tried to join the police force, but unfortunately my background, because I got into a fight, they rejected me. But that rejection was just redirection. And so I graduated from the University of Phoenix with a criminal justice degree. I then taught 5th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, and 12th grade. I did that for 14 years. And then after that, I then entered into the clinical mental health field, and I'm now starting to intern. I just finished my academic portion of my degree. And so I'm now going into that field, and I'm interning and seeing clients currently as we speak.
Man, that is phenomenal. First of all, like I always say, thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Many times we don't acknowledge our veterans. We acknowledge other things. We don't acknowledge our veterans. And it's very easy to miss in this area since everybody's somehow connected to the military. But really thank you. And just use the word scout, so many wonderful African-American scouts all the way from John Horst, John Cabela with the Seminole Wars. And then even the Medal of Honor scouts that's here in Brackenville, Texas. A lot of people don't know there's like 4 Black Medal of Honor scouts that's here. And they fought against the Comanche and the Apache Indians. The United States government offered them. And one of them almost had their leg blown off as well, too. So he's in good company. He's really in good company right here. So, yeah, I knew you was a school teacher. I got that. I knew military. Man, you've been in silent mode. I didn't know you were back in school getting a degree, in mental health to be a counselor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow, man. How is that going for you?
So it's an interesting journey because going back to school at the age of 42 was a big adjustment period.
Yeah.
Right. I was the oldest person in my class pretty much, and just learning a lot about, again, different diagnoses and how people behave, why they behave, and then having to do the assignments, and then also going to work full time. Then I'm also volunteering too on the side with 2 different organizations. So all of that just really helped me manage my time, but it also gave me a new appreciation for having a second opportunity in school.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard. I have to admit, I went back to school a little later to get my doctorate, and I wasn't the oldest one in school, but as things progressed, people would drop out, or, we had someone that got extremely sick, and then I looked around and said, I am literally the oldest one in this program, but with that being said, we push through, we persevere no matter the situation, and we get through. So I appreciate the work that you're doing right now, because mental health is one of those things that it's still very taboo. And people don't necessarily understand mental health unless mental health directly impacts them or indirectly impacts them with a family member or someone they love. What do you feel about that?
So you said it perfectly, right? It is, unfortunately, and especially men, it's not talked about, or it's suppressed through different type of coping mechanisms that aren't necessarily healthy, right? And so at times we disregard something until it knocks on our front door, just like you said.
Yeah.
So being that mental health needs to be more normalized as far as treating it, identifying it, processing your emotions. That was one of the leading reasons that I did go into mental health, because again, it was marginalized or seen as taboo. You can't talk about it. And then also going through my divorce, when I got a divorce 2 years ago, one of the greatest character building opportunities, because I got to see how much men are not given the opportunity to process their emotions in a safe environment. And so that shifted everything for me career-wise, and so to make it not taboo.
Yeah, man, you're hitting something real, real heavy on that, men and how they process mental health. My job working in the emergency department, I see that a lot. And I had this full-fledged conversation with someone not too long ago about women's behavior. Women always have a sense of excused behavior. It is okay to nag at a guy and nag at a guy, and I said we have to change our language and our communication, because a lot of the issues that wind up in domestic violence that I see is because a woman is constantly nagging at a guy, and it's only so much a human being can take before he's bound, especially a man, he's bound to respond back. And normally us, like two men can get in a disagreement and go chest to chest and typically fight and be mad at each other, but cooler heads prevail and we come back. No one's pressing charges, no one's doing anything. It's just like, all right, man, we were stupid. We learned our lesson. You can't do that with a female, you just can't do that. So the mere fact that men struggle alone because they don't have people to talk to them, and the number one reason, some of their number one reasoning is because of relationship woes, and the embarrassment of relationship woes is what I've been finding out in my practice in the emergency room. And there's a lot of undiagnosed childhood trauma. So you see a lot of that. So yeah,
A lot.
yeah. Man, you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, I do. And you made a great point too. I was saying when I talk to my mentee or when I disclose me in the men's fellowship group, I do like to talk about men setting boundaries early, right? Because people will do what you allow them to do. You teach people how to treat you.
Yes.
So if you're not addressing behavior early in the relationship, and then all of a sudden it gets to a point now you're all of a sudden exploding in anger, young man, you should have set the standards early and let it be known, hey, I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. If you do this, and this, I'm going to walk away. Let it be known early. You are not afraid to walk away. And as a young man, we need to set stronger boundaries. Again, I will walk away if you raise your voice, put your hands on me, call me out of my government name. My name is this Christopher Owusu the first.
Yeah.
If anything other than that, I'm ending this immediately. Set the standards early.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. So in my circle of young men that I talk to, one of the things that I teach them, and I get a lot of slack from this, especially from moms sometimes, is I teach them never to chase a woman. And I say when you chase a woman, there's a bit of you devaluing your worth with that woman.
100%.
So it's nothing wrong with wanting to be with a woman. That's perfectly natural. But if a woman has chosen to go a different direction, let her have her direction. It's better that way, because once you chase her, you'll never be able to fully be respected by her. A woman should come back. So if she comes back, that means she automatically appreciates you in the environment. But if a woman wants to leave, let her leave. Be okay with it. And it's easier said than done. It's tough. I mean, I've been to a point when I was, going through relationships with people, and I'm like, my God, what did I do? Let me call this person one more time, or let me just show up one more time. And I just had to realize, like, no, man, no. I own too much value in myself to keep chasing behind people over and over and over again. So, yeah, it's very, very important, and that goes back to the crux of what it is to be a man, to be able to stand your ground and be firm in your belief. And I think that's what makes us different than women, not knocking women, but we have always been the foundation. And to be the foundation is more important. And so I argue sometimes, and this might set off a debate between me and you. So it's fine. I warrant debates. But I've always said, this head of the household stuff is just so wrong. We're not the head of anybody's home. We cannot multitask like a woman. But what we are is a foundation of a home. And I've seen so many foundations ripped from homes because fathers are not there. The homes crumble. So I always ask men, shift your way of thinking. Foundations are stronger than roofs. Always remember that. A roof can be blown off by a storm, but a foundation will still hold a house in the middle of a storm. A foundation is what keeps a home settled and safe.
Wow, that's extremely true. And I like what you said too, how the roof can be easily mangled,
yes,
right? Or it may not be as stern as the foundation.
Yes,
and the foundation has a lot of ingredients in it too. So I like how you're starting the young man with that early. Again, knowing that you're the foundation, and then what goes into a foundation, the strong ingredients.
It is a lot of ingredients to go with men, because it's so funny. I was talking to a young lady at juvie, and she has this young young man that she's interested in when she gets out. The last thing she should be thinking of. But she's a young girl. I can understand. And we talked about the pros and cons of this guy. So there was more cons than there was pros. And I told her, your greatest love will always have many cracks in the foundation. Because if you roll back any carpet in the house, you'll see cracks in the foundation. But the forethought of the cracks, it is because it's destined to be cracks, because throughout time, the pressure of holding that home erect could be very difficult. So it's okay for your man to have cracks. It's okay for your man sometimes not to be a little truthful or a little honest or whatever, but it's your job to identify that early. Don't nag him about that and begin to repair a man. I love my mom so much because I learned a lot from my mom. My mother Shirley is a COO, Chief Operating Officer. I see that. My mother could multitask any situation, but my mother had this respectful dignity about her to never disrespect my father in public, even if my father be wrong. So my daddy, you be wrong sometime. You be wrong, daddy, sometime. But my mama wouldn't. My room just happened to be close to their room. When that door shuts and everybody sleep, put my ear to that wall. Oh, my mama digging in deep. But she won't dig in deep outside of that room. Because she had to let him know that you're a better man than that. I don't tolerate that. I need you to step a certain way. Your son is looking at you. Those are the conversations he had. But when she comes out, sir, would you like your breakfast this morning? Would you like me to bring it to you? Or you want me to pack it to go? She's that dignified woman again. Wow. And it's a strength behind that, because a man does not need to be teared down in public by his woman. I don't know how we got on this woman thing, man.
Listen, no, man.
They're going to be mad at you, Chris.
Yeah, they're going to come at me.
But I will say this, man. You're doing wonderful work, great work, and I appreciate everything that you're doing as far as the mental health. And with that being said, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with the lively art of conversation.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service, so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
And we're back with the lively art of the conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass it along. If you're interested in doing a commercial, if you're interested in doing underwriting, if you're interested in sponsoring the event or sponsoring anything Impact Outreach does, please reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. And we are back. And I'm telling you, I'm finding out about Chris's life, and we're on here debating women. I'm telling you, I think this has got to be a separate show where we just come on and talk about women. I'm telling you, our thumbs down is going to be all over the place, man. It's going to be all over the place. It's be probably my number one viewing show of all time. So tell me a little bit about your life lessons that you learned along the way. You spoke a little bit candidly about some things that you had to reflect on about yourself, but what are some of those life lessons that made you be the man that you are today?
Ooh, man. Now, so I got it. Do you want the from relationships, from the military, from being a teacher, from mental health? What subject did you?
So whatever strikes you.
Oh man. Okay. Well, first and foremost, one of my life lessons, the biggest ones, was my faith. Right. That being the foundation, because your faith is an internal load of self-control, meaning that no one can change it besides you. You decide how to interpret an event. So my faith really started again when I was kicked out of high school. Right. Getting into a fight, being kicked out, and I realized, oh no, there wasn't really internet, so I didn't have the opportunity to have different people to lean on, call on, etc. I just had to take a walk, exercise, and learn and read my Bible, right? Yeah. So just being isolated, it can either build a man or break a man. And so with that being said, my faith, I learned that your faith is really what you determine is solid enough, the foundation, to dictate your life choices. And for me, it was the Word of God, the Bible. And that was the first lesson I learned when it came to my faith. So that's that area. And we have the other lessons that are scattered as I got older.
Yeah, faith has been a big proponent for myself as well too. It's so funny. A lot of people sometimes because I don't attend a church regularly here, sometimes they always think I'm not a man of faith. That's not true, people. I'm a man of faith. Okay. I don't have nothing against Muslims, but I'm not a Muslim. I'm not anything that stands out. I just believe in worshiping the Creator. I attend an Ethiopic church, by the way, in Austin. So I've been at that church for 10 years. And that's how I worship. I worship and fellowship with them. But faith has been one of those challenging things. And I will say this, and I always get myself in trouble, put my foot in my mouth sometimes. But when I look around and I see people doing the work, I only keep running into people like yourself or Dr. Jennings, or Dory Collins. There's just a few people that's literally doing the work. And I'm not knocking any churches that do what they do. I'm not. I'm just saying, I've been in a detention center for 23 years. There has not been a church to roll through there. And if they are, they start and they quit in the middle. And I know there's jail ministry and all that. Jail ministry does great work. I understand that, but I have not seen the dire need for everybody to come together as a coalition and say, we're going to clean our community up. We're going to clean our town up. But when I look around, I see Chris, I see Jennings, I see Dory Collins that's putting in the work. Community based. These are not combustible engines. These are isolated silos of people that are conversion to do the work that is necessary. And for that, I give a shout out to all of them, because I've been up and down this road for years, seeing what I see, do what I do. And again, faces change all the time, but the constant has been Chris and Jennings and Dory, just out there putting in good work.
Dan, well, first of all, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And I definitely want to say one thing that, man, I might get in trouble for saying this. One thing that we need in the Boys Matter to Men's mentorship group is we need more men, right? And again, Dr. Duckett, you're in the juvenile system, so you're doing the work.
Yeah.
And then we're constantly putting out a need for applications for people to step up and come in, again, be a mentor to these young men, right? I have 2 right now, but I can't take anymore because of my load. And so you are right. There seems to be like a chosen few like yourself, Dr. Jennings, Collins, Cedric Moss, et cetera, that are doing the work. But again, it is a dire need for people to put their faith into action. What are you doing outside the 4 walls when you go visit Sunday? What are you doing outside the Bible study Wednesday? What are you doing to put your faith into action and actually replicate what God is telling you to do on earth? not just feeling good one day of the week or feeling accepted 2 days of the week, but what are you doing to make an impact in your community like you are? So we need more men.
Yeah, and again, man, we both mentored a young man. I mentored him when he was younger. You mentored him when he was older. He's going to be on this show, Mr. Savon Simmons. And when he talked to me in this situation that he was in, he told me he had a new mentor, and it was cool because I didn't have access to him at that time. But when he said your name, I said, you're going to be all right, man. I said, you have just left a pickup truck into a Ferrari. You're going to be good, bro. You're going to be absolutely good.
Man.
So, and we kind of laughed about it. And he says, yeah, I really have a lot of respect for him. He shows up and he cares. And just the mere fact that you were covering him in that situation, I felt that he was good.
Got you. Man, I appreciate that.
Normally people, I got to look over their shoulders. But in this case, no, you going to get fed.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And you did feed him.
I did. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
He speaks highly of you.
Oh man, that's humbling.
Yeah.
That's humbling.
Yeah. And that shows you when two brothers converge, indirectly with the same goal in mind to really step inside of a youth. And I call it not adding anything, but to be a gardener and begin to cultivate, the spirit inside of that person.
That part.
Yeah.
Man.
This is gifted hands right here. This is gifted hands. So
I love it, man. Man, that's so true. Because like you said, you're building that internal fortitude within that man to know that any man is not their last mistake. He's not what society will call him based off his production level. Because society tends to disregard a man if he's not producing a monetary value. Then,
yes,
again, you're not. What are you? Like you said it earlier. We don't have a lot of excuses. No one's really looking out for the man's mental health unless he's producing something. So, again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what you do. And mine's come very simple for me. When I was a young man, I have a running joke. I was kicked out of the black church because I asked too many questions. And I got a chance to go to Oral Roberts Christian Leadership Academy, where it was predominantly all white that was there, with the exception of one guy. And he spoke funny and he looked weird. But he had a very, very caring heart. And he would always hit me with these questions that would irritate me. He says, young man, what are you doing with your life? Young man, where are you going? Young man, why are you always in a hurry getting where you need to get? Young man, enjoy nature, enjoy life. He would talk to me like this. And but I used to love to listen to him speak because he was educating me. And if you know anything, to be educated as a verb means it moves into action, So later on, I forget about the man. I go on my life. 1996, it was, I heard a voice and somebody was listening to the voice. I said, what do you listen to? Oh, I'm listening to this phenomenal preacher, blah, blah, blah. Who is that? And I look, I said, he used to teach my Sunday school in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He said, you know Dr. Miles Monroe? I was like, yeah, I know Dr. Miles Monroe, So to see this man now teaching on an amazing platform and know what he instilled in me, the conversations, and he would always say, young man, I see great things coming from you. Young man, I prophesize and I see that you're going to touch people in ways that you'll never be able to imagine.
Man.
I forgot about him, but I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
Yeah. So sometimes people are blessed to see the gift and the talents that God puts in you, and he cultivated who I am as a man and not made me into the man I was, but gave me identity into the man that I am.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
man.
Yeah. It's funny how the world works, man.
That is phenomenal. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Miles Monroe.
Dr. Miles, one of my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Learned so much from him. Man, learned so much from him. So let's talk about your accolades. Let's talk about what Chris has gained along the way. Awards. I know you've got 2 degrees or 1 degree?
Oh, it's about 2 degrees.
2 degrees. Mm-hmm. Okay. And 1 degree is in criminal justice?
Yes.
And the other one's in psychology?
Clinical mental health, psychology.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Military-wise?
So military-wise, of course, I got good conduct award, honorable discharge, combat action badge.
Okay.
I'm definitely proud of that. And then because of what the lessons along the way with that. So that's what I gained from the military wise.
Okay.
And then when it comes to community wise, having the Community Impact Award with Boys Matters to Men Mentorship Group, also with jail ministry with Jonah Martin. He's in charge of that, doing that the past 14 years consistently. So that's an accolade in itself that they give. I'm very grateful for that. And just being in the school system for 14 years.
Wow.
Being able to teach elementary, middle, and high school.
Man.
That's very humbling.
Yeah. And again, you are an anomaly because you don't see too many strong African American men teaching in school. Like, really, you don't, man.
Wow.
You know, like when I was in school, I seen it all the time. But when my kids were in school, I didn't see it. And if they were in some form of coaching capacity, not in the class. So the mere fact that you were in school, and I highly encourage a lot of people that's getting out of the military, if you don't know what you need to do, you know, like just go get you a teacher certificate and start teaching, you know, whatever you're passionate about. You know, education has changed a lot since we went to school, especially math, but still find something where you can master yourself in the art, or if you have a trade. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, which is phenomenal. So let's do this. Let's transition over to our commercial here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about a few other things, and then we'll pass some things along the way. We'll be right back with the lively art of conversation. And we're back with the lively art of conversation where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. I'm in studio with the great man himself. The great man himself. Everybody knows him. His footprint is big, you know. Every now and then, you know, they have a Bigfoot sighting, but there's a Chris sighting when you see him. There's Chris. There he is. Man on the mission, man on the mission. Being a man on a mission is Black History Month. And we're Black men, so we're talking about us, which we are Black history, you know, Black history in the making. So who are some of the men that you revere in Black history? Who do you admire in their body of work?
Wow, that's a good question. So several. Two namely that come to mind is Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
He's Shaka Zulu. He, again, coming from where my parents are in Ghana, Africa, he revered or like transmitted the way of warfare, right? This type of the type of fighting tools, the type of boots. He did barefoot. He was big on endurance, toughness, training. Again, the way that I was able to go to war and by the grace of God come out alive, the same way that Shaka Zulu helped train his soldiers in certain mental toughness. Again, he's not given enough credit or any credit. They do not teach about him in schools. Having been in different history class, he is nowhere near mentioned, not even in Black History Month, in any school in any capacity that I have been in. And the teachers have to slip it in, right, at risk of getting reprimanded. That's besides the point. I'll come back to that. But Shaka Zulu is one, and Huey P. Newton, the leader of the Black Panther. The way he just went against the grain, went against the system. Doing the free lunch program, one that we benefit today in the school system, not giving any credit. Again, so much that he did. Again, making sure to go back into the community, build up. He educated the local citizens on what their rights were, on literacy, things that he's not given credit enough for. But those are two main ones that stand out to me as of right now.
Yeah. Shaka Zulu, by far, is the whole military fighting system in America and around the world is by way a stolen piece of technology from the Zulus, even down to the hand-to-hand combat. Again, Black history is more than those pictures that we see on the wall. Black history are the lands and the nation and the people. In Shaka Zulu, by far, you'll never see him in our Black history book.
Right.
Because he will wake up a revolution in any young boy real quick. And then the whole Black Panther movement, Huey P. Newton, those guys were a different breed of brothers. Man, there was a different breed of brothers. I love that whole movement. And that movement came at such a right time. Again, they don't get the credit that they deserve. COINTELPRO spent numerous of years, tracking them through the system and imploded the Black Panther Party. But Huey P. Newton, by far, Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, those guys, rest in peace, H. Rap Brown. He just recently passed away. God, they were a different breed of brothers. But a lot of people see them for their fighting, and they're standing up against the justice system. I see them for their community work. The free clinic, the lunch programs, the things that they were doing. They were taking care of the elderly. They were keeping their community safe. And when you get down to it, the system that they were great negotiators, because they would negotiate with people in the city before they even bared arms. Wow. So yeah, it was awesome group of people. That's a good choice, man. From Zulu to Newton, man. That's a book right there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man. I have so many that I admire in Black history. At the beginning of the month, I started off talking about different people and figures in Black history. But for a guy that I would give to you, and he's one of my favorite, is Dr. Amos Wilson. I don't know if you ever got a chance to study him. He's a psychologist, and his books are, and I know you're a studier, very well in depth with understanding the Black man's way of thinking, and Dante Jennings, I connected him with those books, and he enjoys those books. You can find them all over YouTube and stuff. He's since passed away, brother from Mississippi. But I learned so much from Dr. Amos Wilson. I even go back and watch some of his old videos sometime on the Tony Brown show. He has this one called The Blueprint to Black Power. I'm talking about, it's about that thick, man. It's about that. Me and Aya Nelly's been trying to tackle that book for a minute, Wow. But it's so much information. You can't read it from page to page. You read a couple of pages, bro, you got to sit down and digest that stuff. And I found the best way to do it, read about 5 pages and then summarize those 5 pages. Because that information is so rich. Every word is so rich. It's just one of those things where you can't flip to the end to get the conclusion. So Dr. Amos Wilson, by far,
Amos Wilson. Okay.
Yeah, definitely is a good one to start off with Black history. So any of you guys listening, Black History Reading, or if you're going to get on YouTube because you don't like to read, I think his books are on YouTube too, so you can download his books and listen to his books off of YouTube. But very, very great guy, and a lot of great education. The welfare and the mind of Black men, Black children, Black women, and all of that stuff. So yeah, definitely. So let's transition. Me and you kind of do something similar. We're both on social media, and one of the things that we love to do is we love to put out positive posts. Every now and then you hit my news feed, and I'll be like, heart share, and I read your stuff, and I like it. I ain't lying. Sometimes I copy and paste it. I was like, I need to add this to some things that I'm writing on right now. I was like, that's really good, man. So what got you started doing that?
So honestly, what happened is when I was expelled from high school, this is where I'm big on young men learning to fail forward. Right? Learning to fail forward. When I got expelled from high school, I had to go to anger management because I was arrested, right? So I had to go to anger management, and I was the youngest person there, right? But around these older gentlemen, I never got the man's name, but it was a man that sat to my left, and he would always be reading in between the sessions. And then I said, sir, what are you reading? I grew up respectful. Sir, what are you reading? He didn't say nothing. He just passed me a book. And it had quotes by a man named Khalil Gibran. And I would flip through it. I'm like, this is powerful. And they were short quotes, but they held so much power, right? And then with the first one, and he just pointed to it with his big brown finger. And one of the quotes that changed my life, it said, "He who angers you controls you." I'll never forget that. How much truth every young man needs to know that. He who angers you controls you. So you decide who you want to have power over you, the person who tries to irritate you, who tries to antagonize her, or yourself. Wow. So from that day on at 17, I've been posting ever since.
Wow. I have my own quote similar to that. Wisdom is the control of emotions.
Golly. That's good.
Yeah, and I have used that in so many speaking engagements that I have, and I do that all the time with myself, especially when I find myself getting hot. Wisdom is a control of emotion, you know, and it just it zaps something in you
Yes, it
to
does.
make you realize that is it really worth being angry about because what someone said or how someone approached you, because whatever you're tied to, like I value respect. So when disrespect comes, it makes me angry.
That part.
So I have to learn that, number one, the person that's disrespecting me, maybe they don't realize they're disrespecting me. And maybe I should just say, hey, you know, maybe you don't know, that was very disrespectful. Sometimes it's like, I didn't mean anything by it. Or then sometimes they say, I meant everything I said, you know? So now it lets me know, is this worth a fight for me staying? Or is it worth me just saying, you know what, you have a good day and walk away? You know, it makes you think. It was a saying when I was taking Hapkido. It was so funny. It was years ago. This sensei came in and he was watching everybody do all these moves and stuff like that, and I couldn't get a move right. And then when I finally got a move right, you know, I went to the person that was having a problem, and I was showing them what I learned how to get it right. And then I heard, "Righty, come here," you know, and I went over there and I said, "Watch him." So I kept watching him and watching him. I said, "Oh, maybe I done the move wrong. Maybe that's what it was." I said, "Okay, I'll go back and try it." He says, "No, what do you see?" I said, "I see a person that's doing it right. I done it wrong." And he says, "What did you do?" I said, "Well, I done the move right, but what'd you do after?" I went over there and helped him out. He says, "So what did you do right?" I went over there and helped him after. That is your true calling. You'll never be a black belt in Hapkido, but you'll be a great teacher.
Man.
You were willing to take fresh knowledge to a person that was struggling just like you were.
Wow.
So again, when you have that wisdom, you have that control of emotion, it is the best thing possible. You know, what makes us special, I'm going to tell you what makes me and Chris special. We both have knowledge, but we have wisdom. And let me explain the difference between you guys, between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is a recipe. Wisdom is how much flavor you put in it to make the recipe taste good. So we're always adding salt, pepper, spice, cayenne, chili powder, all that different stuff to make our food, our chili, our soup, our stew, whatever it is, taste the best. Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, as we get ready to close, what would you like to pass along to someone that's listening today on their way to work or to church?
Well, number one, I want to say, if you're wherever you are on the way to work, to church, is that number one, it could be worse. It could be worse. Whatever you are disenchanted, complaining about, you're disappointed, it could be worse, right? Number one, you want to hold the attitude of gratitude because, again, perception is reality. One thing I've seen, common factor when I go to the jails, when I mentor as a teacher, one thing I know, the humans who success or failure or kept going or succeeded, their attitude. Again,
Attitude.
How do you perceive a situation or a person? I love what Mr. Duckett said concerning pausing, thinking about, was this person intentional? Did they have malice? Did they have a disorder? Like looking at a situation, pausing and perceiving it for the best possible course of action. And then number two, of course, is faith. Faith, again, it goes back, that's the bedrock of the human existence, is that every person is made by God and for God. And what will you do when your last breaths are? What you are going to be held accountable for what you did with who he made you to be and the gifts he placed in you. Did you use it for yourself, or did you use it to give God glory? And with that, there are consequences to each decision that you make concerning the Lord Jesus Christ.
Chris, it's an honor and privilege and pleasure to be in your company, man. I want to invite you back again sometime. I would love to bring you back in for Father's Day, and we just talk about manhood. We run this hour show again and just do it Like I've said to any man that I've ever respected and admired, you're one of the ones. If there's any way that I could be of service to you, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because I would love to work with you, man. Anything you got going on, I love to learn from you, because this is what makes us better, man. You know, how we live, what we learn, what we earn, and what we pass along. And that is the lively art of the conversation, here with the great man himself. You just had the sighting, the Chris sighting. All right, the Chris sighting. He's off to go do good works right now. So, all right. Thank you guys for being part of the lively art of the conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn, you pass along. And we will see you guys back next week.